Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Lightfall Season of the Wish intel. And in this video, I'm going to be taking through this week's Nightfall and GM Nightfall, which once again is the PsiOps Battleground COSMODROME, probably the toughest strike in the current Nightfall rotation, and you're not going to want to skip out on it this week because the reward is the Warden's Law hand cannon. Remember, if you can complete the strike at the GM difficulty and guarantee yourself a platinum score, you will assure yourself the Adept version of the Warden's Law, which is an absolute great hand cannon for both PvP as well as PvE and can actually compete with malfeasance in endgame activities. It's unfortunate that this particular strike is rewarding what is, in my opinion, the best Nightfall weapon for the season, but there are plenty of glitches and cheeses that I think will help out everybody if you're trying this as a solo player at one of the lower level difficulties, or if you're trying to attempt this in a group at GM difficulty, or even if you're a solo player trying to complete this at the GM difficulty. As always, my hat is off to you, and you probably don't need my help, though I'm sure a few of these tricks will come in handy and are always good to know, as this strike hasn't been around really that long and we haven't had that much of an opportunity to really play it at this difficulty. If you enjoy this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 Lightfall content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel, and we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And of course, when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, we'll be giving away an Xbox Series X or a video card of equivalent value. And of course, if you stick around till the end of the video, I'll have a secret hashtag you can leave in the comments section to be entered into that next giveaway a second time for this video. And remember, I do those secret hashtags on all videos, so if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. So to start off, I did want to cover our builds a little bit, as we were running this with two Well of Radiance Warlocks, which I think are always a go-to. I was running Polaris Lance, and we had an Invis Hunter, which I think is going to be the go-to class if you're trying to attempt this solo at any difficulty. Polaris Lance was doubling up on the champions because of this season's artifact mods. The first major glitch that I wanted to talk about, as well as strategy in this case, is once you get past that open field and you get the boat close to where the door is that you're going to be entering for the next section of this strike. A couple of things to note. One, never jump to the roof to your right of where we're standing in this clip, because there is a knight and wizard that spawn on the top back end of this roof. However, you can avoid them altogether if you don't shoot at them. If you do shoot at them and jump on the roof, you will actually spawn another set of wizards and knights. And there is a glitch where, regardless if you're able to take out that wizard and knight, or even the original wizard and knight, more will continue to spawn in infinitely. Doesn't matter if you're in the zone or not, they will continually spawn in, and it will ruin your run completely. Not totally sure why that happens, but it will. So just stay away from the roof and stay in this hallway where you'll bottleneck all the enemies to your leisure. This is a very easy spot to take out all the enemies. The things that are going to be of note as far as danger is concerned is the ogres that spawn in that will rush you. So just stay as far back in this hallway as possible. And remember that before you take out that last hive wizard, it is a light bearer. So make sure that you take out all the enemies before the actual wizard, so that you have time to run across the field and capture the ghost. You don't want anything to respawn, and we've had even one acolyte alive before we took out that wizard that stopped us from actually being able to crush the ghost. So you want to make sure that everything is gone before you actually progress any further. Other than that, this is actually a fairly easy section. The next area is going to be the spot that I think is going to trip the most people up and is going to definitely take the most time to progress through. That's because in Battlegrounds, unlike in Strikes, the way that they're made more difficult is simply by adding more enemies. And in this room, you're going to have, I believe, 7 different sets of enemies, all about 30 enemies deep. So that's going to be a lot of adds to take out. And there are several ways to handle this room. The easiest and probably the safest is to just stand by the door, as you see us using here. There's a couple of things that make this very slow as far as progression goes, as you don't have much room to maneuver if you're in a team. And though the enemies don't come through the door, which ultimately makes this the safest method, it does make it a lot more difficult to take out mass waves of enemies. So if you're doing a lot of AoE damage on your build, it's kind of mitigated here. You're not going to be able to do your full extent of AoE damage. It's kind of take out one enemy at a time, take out the champions first, and then progress down. There is another method to this room, which involves going to the back right side of the room, right to the right of the door that you're going to progress through for the next section. There you have a lot better vantage point of the room, but there is a back spawn that can happen right near the door, and if you're not paying attention, you can get caught out very easily. So as far as a safe method goes, the door is the way to go about it. If you want to test your luck and try to progress through this room a lot faster, maybe if you're a solo player, or maybe if you just have a very confident group, maybe you've gotten a completion on this done already and you're just trying to farm out a Warden's Law as fast as possible, give the other corner a try and maybe try to perfect your method for that particular strategy. Like I said, you will have a much better vantage point of the room, so it's a lot easier to take out all the low-level ads, which in my opinion are actually a lot more dangerous than the higher-level yellow bar ads in this room, just because there's so many more of them. A glitch that I did want to discuss, which I haven't actually talked about in quite some time, as I was under the assumption that it had been patched. However, every single time I make a GM Nightfall video, I always hear from somebody in the comments section saying that they have in fact used this glitch, so that makes me believe that it was reinstituted in some form. The glitch that I'm talking about is the revive glitch. Now, if you don't know what this glitch is, essentially it revolves around you being able to drop to your home screen from the actual strike, quit your game from your home screen, reload into the game, and be able to self-revive or get a free revive. This comes in very handy if you're running low on revives in the GM difficulty, and or if you've run out of revives. This would work the same on PC, I believe, and as I said, there is no guarantee that this works, as I have not used it in quite some time, but I always do hear from somebody, so it's worth knowing and maybe giving a try if you do run very low on revives towards the end of a strike. For the next section, which is a short one, though I think it's an area where most people should proceed with caution, is the bridge area right before you actually enter the final boss arena. There is a Hive Knight that sits at the very back end of this room, and you do want to keep your distance from them, as if they hit any one of your fire team with their shield, it will take out all 3 members of your fire team. There is no way in order to get away from the shield if one of your members gets hit. So just make sure that you keep your distance and you should be fine. Once you drop into the actual boss arena, this is going to be where the Invis Hunter becomes the most vital. And as I said before, if you are a solo player, I believe it's going to be the only option. The key to this section is to stay on the platform that you actually drop in on initially. Even if you get kicked off of it, you can actually jump back on it and there's no turnback barrier. You can mitigate a large portion of all the ad damage as well as the mini-boss damage from up on this platform, and you really don't have to concern yourself with anything other than the shadows of Savathûn. The damage from the shadows can still hit you up here, though you can still stand behind the platform. There's a small lip that runs around the circumference of the platform. In the back, it'll allow you to hide from a majority of the Savathûn damage, and there's pillars on both sides which will also help. You can still get hit behind any of these, though if you're paying attention, you should be able to avoid the Savathûn damage as it's somewhat slow and has a fair bit of distance to travel. The lances are going to be the big thing, and the thing that the Invis Hunter is going to be the most vital for. As I said, if you're a solo player, Invis is going to be an essential. It's the only way that you can actually get back down onto the boss platform, grab the lance, and then jump back up onto this platform in order to do damage to the Savathûn clones or shadows of Savathûn. The first 2 phases of damage are actually fairly easy from this vantage point, especially if you have an Invis Hunter, but it's going to be the 3rd phase of damage which I think is going to be by far the toughest. There's several strategies that you can use, and if you are a solo player, I would suggest simply use your invis if you are on a hunter, which I'm sure you are. Grab a lance and jump back onto the main platform where we did the first 2 phases of damage. Take out that left Savathun first, and then work on the back right one. If you're in a group, there might be an opportunity to quicken up this section simply by having all your teammates head to the right platform. Everybody grab a lance, throw down a Well of Radiance, and take out the back Savathun first, as the front left one can actually be done fairly easily from this vantage point, as the lance actually curves quite a bit towards Savathun, and you can actually take out that front left Savathun without getting a line of sight on them. The back right one can be troublesome if you try to stay on the initial platform and take out the front left Savathun if you are in a group, as you will continually take damage from that shadow. But as you see, once you take out the back right one, if you are using the strategy that we employed here, the front left one can be taken out at your leisure. This might not be the best method for solo runs, as if you jump to this platform, you're pretty much in the open, and I would never suggest using this if you are a solo player, though this particular section will be by far the longest in the entirety of the boss fight. Once you've taken out all the shadows of Savathun, you're actually pretty much done, and the last phase of damage for the mini-boss should be fairly easy to do from the initial platform where we did the majority of this strike from. Just make sure that you don't get caught out in the open. Again, they can throw that shield at you, and if you are in a group, if it hits one of you, most likely it's going to hit all 3 of you and wipe your fire team. And you don't want to get wiped at this point, as really the rest of it is fairly straightforward. Usually the boss will get caught over in one corner if you are on this platform, and you can just sort of pick at them slowly, and they won't actually be able to throw their shield at you, as there should be some impediment in the way. Hopefully you can get this strike done this week and get your hands on an Adept version of the Warden's Law hand cannon, because as I said before, it is amazing for both PvP as well as PvE. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 Lightfall content like this. As I said before, you can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And of course, as I said, when we reach 100,000 subscribers, we will be giving away an Xbox Series X or a video card of equivalent value. If you've watched till this point in the video, please leave a hashtag Nightfall, or a hashtag GM Nightfall, or a hashtag Lightfall, or a hashtag Season of the Wish in the comments section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. Want to give a big shout out to my buddies Sinister, Simple, Bert, and Iron Man for helping me out with this run. And as always, I am Wilhelm Scream. Of course, we will see you next time.